And we're off to the prologue. So, for those that don't know, this is Celeste. It's a precision platformer here, and we're gonna have some mechanics here in the start where the runners can jump, they can climb walls. You see problem just doing there, and in the end of this, we'll also learn how to dash. Language does not matter at all, since we skipped all the cutscenes and what's it called? It's only the in-game timer, so all the menuing and stuff, it doesn't matter at all. It's just personal preference. So the runners are jumping here because it saves a little bit of time over just walking. It saves about 2 frames per jump, so just free time gain here in the prologue, so why not? And as you see here, the runners have now learned... Sorry. The runners have now learned how to dash, and this is going to be used in great extent to break the game here very soon. So we're seeing here, we're starting up here with dash jumps. A dash followed by jump gives the runners a nice bit of height and also some speed, but not as much speed as the hyper jump, which is a downward diagonal dash followed by a jump. Gives the runners a huge amount of speed, but not as much height. But it's going to be used a bunch throughout the run to gain speed. Also, extremely prominent in this level are wall bounces, which is an upward dash by a wall, and then followed by a jump, which gives a whole bunch of speed and height upwards. I do apologize for the noise. Having some builders here, so I can't really do much about it, but hopefully it's not going to be too unbearable. Storyline for this game is we're going to climb a mountain. There's a subplot with mental illnesses, but basically, the gist of it, we're going to try to climb this mountain. We're going to have some trouble soon enough, but we just want to do it as fast as possible. So the start here is the Forsaken City. So this is basically just a ruined city at the base of the mountain. As we'll progress, we'll see a bunch of different sites of the mountain itself. Problem is now finished up with chapter 1 here. A very quick chapter 1 for him, just about a 110. BlackPear not far behind at all. As Obidobi and faceeter are now in the last room here. Also, we didn't talk about, as you see, faceeter and Obidobi just did neutral wall jumps there. So normally when you climb a wall, you would lose all the stamina. But if you wall jump without a directional input, and then switch, or then input towards the wall directly again, you get a little bit of height with each jump, and don't lose any stamina, which is very nice. And problemstrol now just zooming through all side here. So he's unlocked these dream blocks here. The dream blocks work that if you dash, or when you dash through them, or when you dash into them rather, you will continue to dash through them for as long as you can. But if you do hit a wall, then you will get splattered, which is not very nice. And problems now enter the battle line chase here, where the evil side of you, battle line, will chase you around with a 3-second delay, copying your every move. So in these first couple rooms, it's not going to be too much of a problem since we can basically outrun her. But in later stages, we will have to do some backtracking, so keeping track of where Badline is going to be very important. Madline is actually not called John, that's just a meme, I guess. I don't know, a joke. And problem now in the first tier of the rooms where you have to do some backtracking. Nice little save. Ooh, actually not so nice of a save anyway. Gets hit by the Badline there on the way back. Actually misses that coin, so for these coins, you have to collect all of them to actually move the... you have to get all the coins in order to move some blocks. So if you see coins, the runners will have to grab them. Actually, Problem has the world record of this level here, so you can see him using quite a lot of really cool strategies here. So Problem has taken a bit of a lead over pretty much all the other runners here, but Obidobi and faceeter are pretty much tied. BlackPear just a couple rooms ahead there, so... Oh, he doesn't? Oh, bye-bye, he does. Okay, well... My bad. He had the world record. But he's still doing this incredibly well here with a was that a 155? Incredibly good time there for all sides, so good job. For Problem? And we now have BlackPear there in that awake section here, so as Problem just went zooming through it, I didn't have a chance to talk about it, but it's basically just a bunch of fairly precise movement here There's nothing to kill you, but there are a lot of corners and different pillars you can get stuck on randomly, so making sure that you dash correctly is very important there. And now we see problem here entering the resort chapter, which is the cycle-based chapter here of the game, where you have these dust bunnies that will move on a cycle throughout all the rooms, and the cycles will actually switch a little bit depending on if you enter the room or if you actually die in the room. So sometimes the death can not only cost you the death itself, but also maybe force you to take a worse cycle. So far, the problem not having any problems, haha, with this level and just zooming through it. And we now have all runners here in the resort, so very close race overall so far. Not anyone like taking a huge lead at all. I'm now collecting the second key here, and I forgot to talk about these keys. You will never believe this. The keys will unlock the locked doors. Incredible. We now see a problem here moving into the huge mess section here, and the huge mess section is, well, it's a huge mess. It's just a bunch of boxes, books, and towels everywhere. And the first time we were running through this can be quite annoying because there's a lot of really like tight pathways. You can't really utilize your hypers and your dash jumps and whatnot. So you just have to do some very precise dashes overall. So problem's now gone into the books section. No, the box section. My bad. The box section here, and you can technically do these in any way you want, but of course, being speedrunners, we have optimized this and do whatever is closest to Mr. Shiro here. As you can see, Shiro is just to the left of us here. He would be in the same place no matter what pace, section we took first. So by taking that one, we can minimize the movement throughout this big room to just zoom through these sections. We now also have BlackPear and Obidobi in the huge section here. Faceeter a little bit behind there, having some trouble picking up these coins, but still doing fairly well overall. Meanwhile, problem is absolutely zoomed through this and is now moving out of the book section towards the towards the towel section. Ooh, nice little cycle skip there from problem. Actually, just barely beating out those cycles to get through them a little bit faster. The only difference in ending is the goodness of the pie that you get on the epilogue screen that we'll see after the run. Problem now moving into the elevator shaft here. Nice little ultra dash there to get through the room very quickly. So an ultra dash is a hyper dash then followed immediately by a downward diagonal dash. When you downward diagonal dash, the movement speed actually isn't capped, so you can just keep accelerating. So by getting the momentum from hyper dashes, you can get a huge amount of speed. Probably nice little chained hypers there to get to a room really quickly. Saves about like 5 seconds over like trying to do it normally. You can just really zoom through that. As long as now moving up towards the roof of the hotel, we have Obidobi finishing up there with the towel section, moving out of huge mess. Obidobi in the very last room, and Faceeter a little bit behind there, entering the book section. So we'll see how that goes in a little bit. Meanwhile, we have problem here moving into the Shiro fight. So Mr. Shiro, the hotel manager, has suddenly become very angry and wants to fight us, but we don't have time, so we're gonna run away from him. So as with the dust bunnies, Mr. Shiro is also on a cycle here, which on these first couple rooms is not too much of a problem, but as we move throughout this section, the cycles of both the dust bunnies and the Shiro are going to be sort of meshed, so it can be quite tricky to navigate these rooms, avoiding everything at a good pace. So far, problem not doing a very good job. This last room especially can be incredibly difficult. Very long room with some really tight cycles you want to do fast, and sometimes the Shiro and the dust bunnies just don't like you. So, but problem is through their deathless. I think it was a deathless resort overall. I think so. Very, very well done. BlackPear there has just finished up with the key room there, and it's going to go into the sheer fight after one room here. Obidobi now deciding to do a little bit of slow route there, but still doing some dash jumps. I think it was dash jumps, might have been hypers. Still gets through the room fairly quickly, so good job. I think a bit safer there. Now we have a problem here in the Golden Ridge. And the Golden Ridge introduces some new mechanics here. We're going to have these green bubbles that basically give you an extra dash when you get into them somehow, either by dashing or just falling into them or whatever. We have wind, which acts like wind and pushes you around. Very annoying. And then we also have clouds that, for some reason, acts like trampolines. Don't ask me the science behind that. And BlackPear now in the last couple of rooms there of the Ashira fight. Nice dodge there by dashing downwards into the spring. So when Ashira actually gets close to you, the game sort of slows down a little bit, so you can sort of react. Gives you a little bit of time to react by or it gives you a bit of time to react to dodge Ashira easier. Sorry. The game is 100% speedrunning. The devs are very active in the speedrunning community, actually helping us. Like, has fixed several bugs just related to speedrunning, and they designed it with speedrunning in mind. So it's absolutely major speedrunning. Problem there with a nice auto scroller skip there. That's a extended hyper into just a hyper into a bunny hop actually. So one thing you'll see a lot in this run is utilizing momentum from moving blocks to boost your own dash techniques. There's a couple of skips that involves that, and it's a very neat thing that can be used in a lot of places to save time. We now have BlackPear here, start up Golden Ridge. Obidobi a little bit behind there, not much. We have about 4 rooms, which is very easy to get back for. faceeter has fallen a bit behind Problem there in the bottom race, is now about to finish up with Resort. Meanwhile, Problem is now going to move into the Harsh Wind section there of Golden Ridge, with the last section. Nice neutral wall jumps there to clear that very quickly. So in the next, I think, in 2 rooms here on Problem side, we're going to see the Harsh Wind come in. So this is the biggest difference here between casual play and speedrunning play, because for casual players, you would basically only be able to walk a couple pixels per second and then sort of dash sometimes. But we can utilize hyper dashes, dash jumps, and all the variants of that to clear these rooms really quickly still. So normally you would only be able to walk about just a couple pixels per second, but Problem is still flying through this room because of hyper jumps and dash jumps and all that good stuff. Problem now in the very last room there of Golden Ridge, about to finish up and head into the temple. We have BlackPear gonna do the auto scroll skip here, I think. Let's see what it does. It's extended hyper jump, very nicely done. Hyper dash. And Obidobi is gonna join him for the auto scroller there. So just a room and a half behind-ish. faceeter, meanwhile, has started up with Golden Ridge and is doing fairly well so far. Obidobi actually deciding not to go for the auto scroller skip and just sits tight there. It's better safe than sorry, I guess. And now we have a problem there in the Mirror Temple. So what's it called? The Mirror Temple, just like Ridge, introduces a whole new bunch of new mechanics. We have these red bubbles that sort of act like the green bubbles from the previous chapter, but they dash indefinitely and infinitely until you either hit a wall or you dash out of them. There's also dash blocks that that when you dash in the room, they move on their little path. And then a little bit later, we're going to meet some new friends. We now have BlackPear there in the last room before the Harsh Wind section. Obidobi, a couple of rooms behind, they're going to do the second auto score, which is just before this section. And faceeter, a little bit more behind, unfortunately. Still doing a fairly good pace overall, especially for his PB. Or what I assume is his PB. Problem they're moving to the what I call the dark section. I think it's called Depths. not much happening there. We actually skip most of it. It's mostly just for strawberry collecting. That there are a bunch of paths to do, but we can just skip most of it. Since this is any percent after all. So in the top race there we have BlackPear in the last couple rooms there of the Hearthstone section, and Obidobi just started it, so he's a couple rooms behind there, but looks like it's going to be a really, really close race up there actually. Now we're going to meet our new friends here on Problem soon. So these are the Seekers we're going to see now. So these Seekers can do a couple things. They will home in on Madeline's position and try to eat her face like that. They can also break those red blocks that you saw, and they can also actually be used to collect those blue coins for the switches. So what we're probably gonna see a lot of is manipulating those Seekers to actually pick up coins for you, so you don't have to do as much work. BlackPear there has finished up with the Ridge, as Obidobi is in the last couple rooms there, and faceeter also in the Hearthstone section there. So Madeline did not turn into Seeker; it was all a dream. So now we see a problem stream here. Gonna use that, manipulating that Seeker to get the bottom coin and then going up instead. So just making them collect the coins for him instead of having to do the work himself. This is a really cool strat. Bonking that Seeker to the explosion of the Seeker's respawn will also pick up the coins, so you don't actually have to hit the coin directly. It's just a problem there, just missing it slightly, but because of the explosion being bigger than the Seeker's hitbox, it will still pick up the coin afterwards. And now we're coming up on search skip here for problems. So this section is called search section. Normally you have to select 2 keys and take a green bubble throughout this entire path, this room here. But we can do an extended reverse dash jump to just skip all of that, which is very nice. That saves like 2 to 3 minutes and is by far the biggest skip in this game. It's very nice. And now we're going to see problem here moving into the Theo section very, very soon. So I'm going to explain that in just a little bit. But first, BlackPear is about to turn into a Seeker as well. Obidobi a little bit behind there, but also gonna go for the depths very soon. Faceeter is just starting up with Temple there, so has fallen a bit further behind problem, unfortunately, but still on very good pace. And now we have a problem there in the Theo section. So our friend Theo has been trapped in a crystal ball, or crystal. I don't. It's not a ball really, but anyway. And we have to carry him to the end because we're friends, apparently. And Theo limits us a lot. We cannot really walk that fast, and we can't dash when holding him, but we can dash before picking him up, and when you pick him up, like during hyper dash, you actually get a little bit of speed, so you can still get a huge amount of speed. It's used in the, if you've seen the task, you know that it can be used, especially right in this room, for a bunch of speed. Problem is, you're losing a little bit there to get through the room very quickly. BlackPear now is starting up with the unraveling section there with all the Seekers. Obidobi in the last room before the turning into a Seeker sequence. But meanwhile, we do have a problem there. Nice neutral wall jump there with Theo. That's really hard. Good job. And in the very, very last room there of the Mirror Temple, and at the end of the Mirror Temple, it's the Eye, and we throw Theo into him. Lore. BlackPear there moving through the. Oh, nice! Actually, didn't think that would hit. Very nicely done by BlackPear. Going through this unraveling section. Meanwhile, Obidobi now is just finished up eating himself and is going to join BlackPear for the unraveling section. faceeter just about to start the unraveling section as well. So doing very well so far, actually. Problemstrol has now entered the reflection chapter, and of course we have new mechanics again. How joyous! We have these feathers in the start there. Oh, actually, probably going for lake skip here. Very difficult trick there with a couple of almost pixel perfect jump. Third try, very, very nice there. You have to do I think it's a 3 pixel window to do that second wall bounce, so it's incredibly tight. So very well done that problem. It saves about 4 to 5 seconds. I think that was technically still worth it, even though he died a time. So very nice of him. Anyway, Problem there in Reflection has encountered these feathers as well. And the feathers allow you to fly omnidirectionally for a little bit. 4 pixels? Whatever. Allow you to fly omnidirectionally for a little bit. So they can be quite finicky to control sometimes, but if you do them well enough, you can fly through some of these rooms a lot faster than some of the not as experienced runners. We also have these Kevin blocks, called Kevin blocks because of Kevin from Power Body, who does the actual noise for them. You dash into them and then they move towards wherever you dashed into them. If that makes sense. They move towards wherever you dashed for as long as they can. We also have these bumpers here that act like pinball bumpers, and I don't want to explain what pinball bumpers do. They bump you. I don't know. Obidobi there finishing up with Search Skip. Meanwhile, BlackPear start up with Theo section there. And Faceeter just now about to finish the Orion section going into Search Skip. That top race is still incredibly close, so it's going to be interesting seeing how the last 2 chapters. Because the last 2 chapters are where you can see a lot of difference between runners. It's by far the hardest chapters as well as the longest, so we'll see how the top race goes there. And also, should be said that it is the in-game timer we go after, so the run at top is actually a little bit closer than you think, because there's about a 20-second difference there in the in-game timers at the moment, so take that into account as well. BlackPear is finished up with Mirror Temple there, as Obidobi now moving through the about the middle section there of Theo. Oh, the Theo section. Problem has now started chasing after Battleline, so contrary to Chapter 2, we are now going to chase after Battleline. First, just chasing our hair here throughout this little section here. There's a pretty nice little trick here. You can get through these spikes. There's setups for the first 2. The last one, though, is pretty tricky. There's no setup for it. Problem is just going straight for it. Very nicely done. And that's a pretty high-risk situation, because normally going through a room, you'd have 2 or 3 checkpoints along the way, but since we skip all of it, if you die in the end, you get sent back to the very start. Battleline is the evil clone of Madeline that we saw in Chapter 2, in the end of Chapter 2. And we're going to see her now again. Problem going for Battleline boost. Very nicely done. Boost right through that little tight section into Battline's face. And that works similar to the auto-scroll skip in Chapter 5, where you get a huge amount of speed from the Kevin block this time to just zoom through that room and then punch Battleline right in their face. Speaking of punching Battleline in the face, that's what Problem's doing right now. So this fight section here is pretty long. It just involves getting into Battline's face as often as possible and basically punching her until the screen is over. Oh, that's about how this fight goes. A lot of tiny optimizations everywhere to save time. Nothing really like new breaking stuff. Important things to note: there are balls that Battleline send out. You want to avoid them. There's also a laser that you also want to avoid. And when you actually get bumped, or you bump into Battleline, you actually do get your dash back, and a lot of the time you will see Problem, and then the other runners use that to get to ground quickly. To wow, nice ultra dashes there to get to the room really quickly. Yeah, you'll see the runners usually using that dash to get to the ground to actually be able to use the speed tech, because you can't really do that in the air. So Obidobi fell a little bit behind their Mirror Temple, as BlackPear is now starting up with the hollow section there, Reflection. Faceeter not too far behind Obidobi there, just about to enter the lake there as well. Problem now in the last room of the first part of the Battleline fight, so doing very, very well so far. It's a really good run for him, I think. And now Battleline turns ultra mad, ultra evil, and decides to get telekinesis, and is now going to start like throwing blocks at you, or around you actually. Oh, bit of trouble there with the missing the extended part of the extended hyperdash. BlackPear there in the BlackPear now also about to start chasing Battleline as Obidobi and faceeter are pretty much synced up. They're very, very close. Just as a reminder here, faceeter and Obidobi are not racing. It's the top runners racing each other and the bottom runners racing each other. So also do keep that in mind. No one was available, so now I'm here. My voice will hate me after this, but I'll take that. Problem has just finished up Battleline when I was not watching, so gonna level up here, get a second dash and that beautiful pink hair. And also, if you haven't noticed, actually, when you dash, your hair color changes to indicate how many dashes you've left. So when you have 1, it's red. When you have 2, now it's pink. When you have 0, it's blue. Very nice to know. I should have said that earlier. I apologize. Problem there is finished up with a 23 flat. And problem is that of PB, right? His PB is a 33.10, so a 10-minute, 10-second summit for someone at his level is very, very doable. So we might very well see him PB here, which would be incredibly cool. BlackPear will start up with Reflection, with the Battleline fight, sorry, the first couple rooms there. Obidobi and faceeter are now pretty much synced up again. And is going towards the Battleline chase as well. So for Summit here, we have a sort of a recollection of all the chapters that we've gone through. So we're going to start off here in the Reflection-esque chapter, before then moving through chapter 1 through 5, and then the actual summit of the mountain. Just get a sub-9 summit, that's that easy. Can happen technically, I guess. We'll see how it does. So Obidobi there, just about to start chasing this Battleline. faceeter a little bit ahead now, actually, and BlackPear is in the about the middle there of the first segment of the Battleline fight, so doing pretty well so far. Problems over flying through the summit here in the Forsaken City chapter here. So what I actually didn't mention is there are these zipper blocks that when you touch them, they will move on their path. Not used that much in the actual chapter 1 because we have so much speed tech, but here we sort of do have to use them because we just can't get the height without them. And BlackPear there in the very last room of the first segment, so about to start up the second half of the Battleline fight. Meanwhile, both Obidobi and faceeter are on the Kevin blocks. faceeter is actually going for the Battleline boost. Let's see if he gets it. Oh no, he skips the cutscene too late and gets stuck in the floor and has to retry. So cutscenes in this game keep your right position. So because he went so fast, he actually fell on the little platform that's sort of below where you would actually stand in the cutscene. So when he gets sent back, he's actually in the ground and has to reset. Or retry him. Oh, I missed this problem strat, I'm sorry. But anyway, problem is now... Oh, nice save there from Problem. Oh, nice hyper there out of the stream blocks. It's very tricky to do. You have a couple of frames to be able to actually hyper dash out of these stream blocks. You can jump out of them pretty easily. Hypering is a whole nother ballpark to do consistently. But Problem is having no problems. I'm never gonna stop using that joke. Going through the stream. So for Reflection, as we were approaching the summit, Battleline decides to be a little mean person and basically just throws us down to the bottom of the mountain into a cave. So Reflection is us first getting through the cave and then basically fighting Battleline, forcing her to get on our side. And then we moved. Then for Summit, we climbed out of the cave and then climbed through the rest of the chapters with the help of Battleline. But meanwhile, we have a problem here. We're going to revisit Oshiro here in the 1500 section already of the Summit. Very done very quickly. And 1500 meters is usually seen as the hardest part here. There's a lot of pretty precise cycles, a lot of really cool strats as well, though. Oh, Problem trying to do a little ultra strat here. We'll see him going for it again there. There we go, nicely done. Nicely done there, Problem. It's still fairly close, especially between... The top race is still pretty close. Bottom race, Problem has a pretty clear advantage, unfortunately, so... but faceeter is still doing pretty well, especially for his PB, so... I'm looking forward to seeing if he can actually get a PB off that, because it would be very possible. Problem there, finished up with 1500, going to 2k, just absolutely zooming through the summit so far. Just that one little death in the ultra room. So for 2k, we have Golden Ridge here, we have clouds again. We have these pink clouds, I actually didn't mention before. They, the pink clouds, unlike the white clouds, will just despawn when you jump off them once and then respawn a little bit later. But it's not that much of a problem in the speed run because, well, we usually just need the one. Oh, getting a little bit stuck there. Nicely getting over that snowball. Moving through. Gonna do this auto scroll skip here, probably. Yep. Extended dash jump here up this block. A lot of movement or momentum. And then a wall bounce here at the very end. Nicely done there. BlackPear has now also joined for Summit. It's already in the 500 meter section. Meanwhile, Obidobi in the last part there of the what's it called? Last part of the battle line fight. And faceeter is actually already in the very last room there. So having a pretty good run, I think. Problem now finishing up with 2000 meters, going to my personal favorite, the 2500 meter section. 2500 meters has a whole bunch of really cool strats and skips all over the place. So be sure to keep your eyes peeled on Problem because I think he's going to do pretty much all of them, bar maybe one. But faceeter is now also leveled up going into Summit. Obidobi in the very last room there of the battle line fight. And if his speedrun.com PB is actually right, his speedrun.com PB is a 54, and he's on a pace for like 41 maybe. So we'll see. Problem now into 2500 there. Misses the first little skip. Oh, actually does a little back up there. Very nicely done. Utilizing dash block to get a huge amount of momentum there. Very nice. Maybe see some ultras there, getting through them really quickly. Going for a key skip now. Here we go. Doing a couple of wall jumps there to be able to get enough height to dash, double dash up and get that key without having to go down for a little red bubble. And Obidobi is now finished up with Reflection. BlackPear about to finish up with 1k. And faceeter is now also started with 0 meter, going very soon into 500. Gonna be a little tight fit here for Problem. Oop, accidentally hitting the spice there on the head. There we go, it's very nicely done. And now he's going for door skip, gets the first one, very nicely done. And he gets door skip, really nicely done there by Problem. Saves a whole second. So, and it's really, really precise, but very nice job giving us a bit of a show there. BlackPear now starting, or also got into 1500 there, so gonna see him in these pretty hard runs here. Obidobi there in 0 meters, faceeter starting up with, or started up with 500 meters, and Problem has about 3.5 minutes, actually like 3 minutes 40 seconds left to PB. Normally, I'd say that 3K should take between 3 up to a maximum of like 320. So I believe we're gonna see Problem PB here, unless he has too much problem. I'm not sorry with this 3K. World record is a 13, 14? 30-13, thank you, by TGH. Which was done yesterday, I think. Nice corner jumps there by Problem, just zooming through that section. Well, geez, I'm so sorry. BlackPear now in the 2K meter section. They're taking a bit of a lead there over Obidobi, as he's now in the last couple runs there of the 500 meter section. Meanwhile, faceeter is in the 1000 meter section there. So he's also on a really, really good pace to PB. So we might see at least a double PB. BlackPear is at 36.06, and I think he's a little bit too much. I think he's a bit too much behind to actually get that, but we'll keep an eye anyway. Oh, that's a pretty big death there for Problem. 13 and 14, the checkpoints for 13 and 14 can be some pretty long room, and they have some pretty harsh deaths if you die in the end. Because of this updraft that's currently going on, getting through these rooms will take a lot of time. So hopefully that should not have cost him enough to lose the PB. I hope I haven't spoken too soon there. BlackPear are now about to finish up with 2k, moving to 2500 here in just the next room. Obidobi starting up with what's it called? 1k, faceeter in 1500. Problem is actually having a bit of trouble there with 3k, having some pretty small deaths, but still not too great. Oh no, just actually dashes off. I think he's feeling the nerves a bit. He still does have over a minute left to PB, so unless something really bad happens, this should still be a pretty solid PB. Still has a minute 10 seconds on flag 3. Nice little jump there. Flag 2 for him here. Oh, bunny hops over it. Hold your breath. Okay, he's through. He's on flag 1. He has 50 seconds left. And that is it. A 32-28 for Problem. A PB by 40 seconds. That's incredibly impressive. Really well done there for Problem. So GG Problem both for winning the race and for that incredible PB. Really, really cool stuff from Problem. Now we do have some more races, of course. We do have BlackPear here. He's about to enter the 2k here. He only has about 2 minutes to PB, so it's going to be a bit tricky for him to actually PB here, but he's still going to get a pretty good time. faceeter there, I think he's going to go for the scroll skip. We'll see. Yep. Oh, doesn't get the extended hyper jump and just falls down. That's very unfortunate. BlackPear there has entered 3k now. And Obidobi is finishing up with 1500. And just like as a reminder, Obidobi's run on speedrun.com is a 54:51, and I think he can beat that by several minutes, like 10 minutes. So that's gonna be really good for him. $15 deaths there from problemstrol. That's really, really impressive. Really well done. And we have faceeter now there, finishing up with 2k. Obidobi in about the middle section of 2k there, so still doing really, really well, but falling a bit behind faceeter and a little bit more behind BlackPear as well. BlackPear there on flag 7, almost at the top there. Looks like he's gonna take that top race. But Obidobi is still on really, really good pace for PB, so I'm gonna make sure to keep sticking around for that. faceeter also on fairly good pace. I think someone in the chat earlier said his PB was like a 41 something, so it's gonna be close, but it's very, very possible we'll see him PB as well. BlackPear there on flag 3, almost finished up there with the summit, and it's pretty much BlackPear's win to take this time. So faceeter has like if the person in chat earlier was correct, then he has about 4 minutes left to PB. So that's very, very doable. So hopefully we'll see him get a very nice time here. BlackPear there has finished up and has won the top race there with a 37-19, a very, very solid run overall. So congratulations, BlackPear. Very, very good showing. So faceeter there, I'll start up with 3K non-flag 22, I think that is. So far doing very well throughout this 3K. Flag 15 here for faceeter. Come on what I like to call a deadly 2, 14-13, which can be some really harsh deaths if you're not focusing enough. We'll see. So far so good. Getting through 14 very nicely. On to 13. We have Obidobi there starting up with 3K. So also on a very, very good time so far. Ooh, small death there for faceeter as he accidentally bumps into those spikes, but shouldn't be too bad. I think he's still on pretty good pace, yeah. Alright, so the problem has declined interview, so I'm just going to say it again. Congratulations on an amazing PB and really solid run from him. Now we do have faceeter here in the last couple of checkpoints here. Checkpoint 3 there. He is very, very close here. And faceeter now about to finish up here on flag 1. He's going to get a sub 41, so assuming that the chat was right, that is going to be a PB for him. So very, very nice run for faceeter overall. Congratulations on that PB. And now we have Obidobi also about to finish up there. Or sort of about to finish up. He's on flag 13 there. And the SSRC is a 54-51, and if that's right, then he still has like 14 minutes left to PB, which is a 40-30. Is a 40-31. Oh. Still a really nice run. Oh, faceeter is in the chat. Was that a PB for you, or did you have a better one before? I don't know if you can hear us, actually. I'm assuming you can. Or hear me. We now have Obidobi there on flag. That's a flag 7. So he is very, very close to finishing up this race here with a very solid time. It was 18 seconds off PB, okay. It was still a very, very solid run from you, faceeter, so congratulations on that. And Obidobi now about to finish up. Flag 6. On to flag 5 here. Flag 3 here for Obidobi. 40. It's gonna be a. I think it's an. I might actually be a sub 43, which is a really, really solid time. Oh, but he misses dash. And Obidobi there finished up with a 42-44, which, if everyone on SRC is correct, that's a huge PB, like 12 minutes. So, really great run from Obidobi. Congratulations. And GG to all the runners. That was a really, really nice race to watch. Also, actually quite a lot closer than I expected at first, so it's very, very cool to see. Problem they're getting a very nice PB, and also Obidobi there. So, oh, we're actually going to get Obidobi in here, so... so we talk to him a bit. Hey, Obidobi.
Yo, what's up, man?
Congratulations. Am I right in assuming that was a PB?
Yes, yeah, that was a PB. I haven't uploaded anything in a while to the website.
Okay,
but,
what was your PB before?
I think it was a 45.
45. That's still like a 3-minute PB.
Yeah.
Or 2.5 or something. Very nice.
I'm surprised, but happily surprised nonetheless.
Yeah, I was starting to be suspicious because your PB on SRC is like a 54, and I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really, really nice run.
Yeah, thank you. That was the first run that I submitted just for the tournament. I should probably end up submitting this one to give people a better time to go off of. But
hey, that just made it more exciting. I just thought I was here thinking you PB by like 12 minutes. Do you realize how cool that would be? Just give me false hope. No. Was it like any part you felt went extra good for you in this run?
The early like first few chapters went decently well. I think I lost a decent bit of time to like the battle and fight and stuff like that, and then I messed up a couple of I can't remember exactly what it was, maybe like 1,000 and 1,500 meters or something like that. Just could have been better, could have gotten a 50 or excuse me a 41, but overall I don't know. I'm just glad to have, like, this is my second race, and it just felt so much better than the first one because nerves were a thing. So
yeah, that's really good.
Overall, it was good.
Well, hopefully we'll see you get even less nerves and maybe get that 41 very soon, maybe even lower.
Let's hope.
Speaking of which, do you have more races coming up? Do you have more races coming up soon?
Oh, sorry. I think I'm gonna schedule one for Thursday. I believe so. Tomorrow. One tomorrow.
Oh, if you guys want to see Obidobi get that sweet new 41, maybe, then tune in tomorrow for that, perhaps.
All right.
Thank you for talking to me. Any last words before we take a break here?
No, just thank you again for commentating. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely, it was my pleasure.
All right.
All right, thank you very much. Dear viewers, we do have more Celeste coming up very soon. Just over on Speeding Game 5 here in about 5 minutes, we're going to have Dubai versus Noxedo, and that's the race you definitely don't want to miss, so be sure to head over to Speed Gaming 5 here for that. We're also going to have more races. We're going to have one at almost every hour until 10 p.m. here on going on. Going to be first Speeding Game 5, then 3, and then at 8 p.m. we're going to have one on 4, Speeding Game 4, so be sure to stick around for those races. Anyway, my name is Wesley, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you very much for tuning in.